See how it went.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and we want to welcome you all back to our channel. Thank you for returning. My name is Asada,
And I'm Cedric.
and you are here with us on our channel.
Love is the journey.
Love is a journey. I said our channel twice because love is a journey, and the journey is love. Did you know I was going to say that?
I did.
Okay.
I was right there with you.
Okay. Well, today we're going to take you all on one of our adventures. So normally our adventures have been about luxury hotels, like the luxury experience while traveling. But today we're going to dig a little bit more into the relationship side of the journey of love. And we'll start different topics. We'll talk topics on marriage, relationships. We're even going to invite couples on to talk with us about it.
Right.
As we go on our journey of love, as we go on it's a journey.
It is a journey. But today's topic is mainly about does marriage change things?
Or does marriage make things better?
Right. And today is more about the attitude that happens when that paper is signed. There's couples that have been in relationships for 5-10 years, not married. Things are pretty good, but usually somebody is not content because the paperwork hasn't been signed. When it comes to marriage, the contract,
You need that ring.
isn't there, right?
You need that, yeah.
Well, I mean, sometimes they have rings, but there's no paperwork.
Right?
But the question is does the mentality change in the man or the woman once that paperwork is signed?
Does paperwork matter?
Does it matter? Legally, yes, it does. And a lot of people, families, things of that nature, sometimes don't respect relationships unless the paperwork is signed.
That's true.
It's like, oh, well, you just his boyfriend or you're just his girlfriend, type thing. So I can see why a lot of women want that extra added piece of respect, once the paperwork is done,
right.
The marriage and the vows are done, so they get the respect from mother-in-laws or father-in-laws or vice versa, on the man's side or the woman's side. So,
because it is true. I mean, I do see the part where families won't respect you. They're like, that's your girlfriend, right. Or that's your boyfriend, and so they do take you down a notch.
Right.
When you don't have titles. It's like, as much as you may not want a title, we're in a title society.
Definitely.
Everything wants a label.
And then with there's the medical piece too. So God forbid something happens to your significant other, and you can't get into the hospital because you're not married or you don't have rights, certain rights or whatever.
Can you imagine you're in a relationship for 8 years? You live with this person for 8 years. An accident happens.
Right. They
have to go to the hospital, and you want to enter the room, and they're like, "No, are you the husband? Are you the wife?" And you're like, "Yes, but no." It's like, yes, but no, not on paper.
Right.
And they're like, "Well, you can't come in.
Right.
Only the parents can come in."
The thing about it is I've never seen anybody ask for the paperwork. So
right.
You just gotta say the right thing.
What is it? What's the word?
Yes. The answer is yes.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I am her husband.
Okay.
He is my wife.
Okay,
no, she is my wife. She is my wife. Yeah.
Yes. You have to say the word.
So it does matter when it comes to a lot of different things. But the question is there a mentality shift once the paperwork has been signed?
Okay.
And the research that I've done has shown that a lot of ladies tend to have a mindset change after a few years once the paperwork is signed. And have you experienced that with any of friends and people that you've talked to, where the mindset has changed after a few years of marriage? They look at things differently?
Yeah, well, of course. It's like things change after you get married. It's like, what you expect doesn't necessarily happen, or it happens maybe not in your time frame that you want it to happen.
Right.
And so I have seen that, which I'm glad, because that's why we're having this show.
Right.
is because we talk to so many couples with these same type of issues and problems all over the world. It's not like a local issue.
No.
It's not a regional
issue. No new problems under the sun.
It's not a regional issue. So for some reason, this is coming up. These questions are coming up often, and it's good to be able to talk it out. So, yes. I actually said all that
just to say yes. Just a little time filler there.
Yeah.
So again, the experience that I have had that ladies tend to be bred, from little girls that marriage is the thing. That's what they look for. And once that has been achieved. It seems to some, let's skip around here a little bit. It seems that if a woman has been married for some time and gets divorced, a lot of times they're not looking to get married again if they've been married for some time. I think they realized that it wasn't what they thought it was going to be, and studies show that because men usually aren't trying to get married. Men are like, oh, I get married, tie down, whatever. But a lot of times, if a man's been married for a while, they tend to want to be married again.
Really?
Yeah, that's what statistics show. They want to get married again. Now, some men, are like, you know what, Matt, I ain't doing it again because whatever.
But you find that most men want to get remarried, while most women do not.
After long relationships. After long relationships.
That is such a great point, because a lot of women that I speak with, they're like, oh no.
Right.
No, I would never do that. But a lot of men feel like that too. A lot of men don't want to get married in the first place.
Right. And then they realize, I didn't want it. Why did I do that? Why did I do it? So
why did you do it? Why?
Is it what she wanted, or is it what he wanted, or did the time happen? So when you and I got together, I think I had the. Did we talk about us?
No, but we can.
We can, yeah. So when we got together, I was one of those men. I'm like, I'm not getting married. It's not gonna. Things change when you get married. It's like, hey, we good. I'm with you. We good, right?
That is what you said.
So because you didn't want to ruin it with because once you're married, it's like the woman tends to expect more out of the man once they're married.
Yeah, because they're like, you played video games when we were dating, but now we're married.
Right.
So now you didn't grow up. Like, from the time we got married, you did. And the funny thing is, because marriage is like signing the paper, making the commitment.
Right.
But it's almost like, where's your cape?
Right.
You're supposed to like.
The cape has been on. The cape has been on. Now, we had some conversations like this before, and like one of the things that came up is like, with men, a lot of times, not all the time, nothing's 100%. A lot of times, men are really slow to change. So if you are with a man and you're like, oh, I love him, he's this, he's that, and in the back of your mind it's like, except that little thing right there, or that little thing right there, or those video games, or he's always doing this with the boys, or whatever, it's not going to change. Don't expect it to change. It's not.
Yes.
So just because you sign the paperwork, it's like, well, yeah, but that's, put away those childish things. No, because that's what makes him happy. And if you start taking those things away from him, he's not going to be happy. He's going to be resentful. He brought you in to be an add-on to his enjoyment or fulfillment, not for you to take it away from him. Right? But a lot of times the women are like, well, we're married, so you have to do X, Y, Z now.
Yeah, because she brought the man in to, I'm not gonna say make things better, but it's like, if a woman can do it by herself, which these days it's the movement of the independent woman, so it's like, if she can do it by herself, then you should be bringing something to the table. You hear, I can do that all by myself, or I'm independent. You have to bring something to the table.
I'm gonna make a blank statement. I had a radio show a while back, called Men Revealed, with a couple of friends of mine, and we had that topic about bringing stuff to the table. And what we decided on was don't worry about bringing something to the table, because it's to me that's a mentality that's kind of broken. It's like, what are you bringing? What do you bring into our relationship? These are things that you should be already looking for or fell in love for because of what they provided. What's the addition that you've added? If you have to ask that question when you're in the relationship, like deep into the relationship,
That's true. What did you bring to the
what were you
table?
doing? What were you doing during that whole time?
Well, I mean, I as you were talking, I'm thinking, like at a Thanksgiving dinner potluck, supposed to bring a plate.
Right.
You know, it's
Right.
like when you were in elementary school, the little Chicken Little, but like, are you gonna help make the bread? And everybody's like, no, I'm not
Right.
gonna help it. I'm not saying this is the case. I'm
Little
just
red
bringing,
hen?
get the little red hen. That was such a cute story. But I'm not saying that this is the point. But this is a lot of women's perspective. It's like if I'm doing all of this, I want a person who can come into
Right.
the situation and make the situation better or balanced.
Right.
But as you said, a lot of times I have found, and it is confusing to me, that women, we tend to see these problems in a man like, wait, like, and I use the example video games, nothing against gamers at all, nothing against gamers, but going back to that point, if you don't like somebody who plays video games, don't marry them.
Right.
You know, because a lot of times I found that talking to women and men, things that they don't like, they marry into it, and then
Thinking it's gonna change or they're gonna be okay with it.
yes, and I found that women a lot of times don't like something but want to be married,
Right.
so they'll ignore it. And then I find men, they like something in a woman, especially a confident, independent woman. But then once they're in a relationship, they want to change it, take it away, dim the lights.
Right.
So it's kind of
Well, once we get married, you know you can't be doing that. Or
Yeah.
Once we get married,
Yeah.
you need to be doing this. Or
yeah.
once
And
we
it's
get
like
married,
you're gonna wear
it's
that.
Like,
It's like you're walking out.
It's like
in
no.
this.
It's like no. I saw a couple of videos where there was one that was really good in particular where the woman was basically saying, "You want me to be a wife, act like a wife, then you need to marry me. You know, like I'm not like that's a wifely duty. That's a wifely duty. You know, if you want to be a wife, then you know you need to marry me."
Right.
And the man asked her, he was like, "Well, do you want to marry me?" She's like, "Yeah, I want to marry you. Why?" He says, "Well, because you're a provider, you do this, you do that, you do this." He was like, "So I'm already doing those things. I'm already a husband. That's why you want to marry me. But you're not acting like a wife. So why do I want to marry somebody that's not acting like a wife right now?" Whereas, because the woman was trying to hold over the man, "I'll give you this when you marry me. I'll give you that when you marry me." And a lot of things like that, yeah, I understand, I get it, but it's like you should already be in the role. Like in any type of position or work for or career, whatever it is, you need to already be doing what it is that you're looking to be doing. Like so, like if you want to be a manager, you need to be doing manager type things. If you want to be doing like whatever the case may be.
Whatever role you want to play,
You should be doing it or
play
preparing
that
for
role.
it. Exactly.
And then once you get tired, once you don't see any results, then you stop. But at least give it your all.
Yeah. Well, I never said stop, but I mean, it's like you need to be doing what you expect. You know. So if you are a woman in a relationship, you've been in a relationship for a while. I'm not talking about a couple of weeks or a couple of months or whatever. I'm talking about when you've decided to put down. I got my own times, but people need to understand. Time is a construct that you need to rationalize in your mind of what's going to work and what's best for you. Again, if you jumping into a marriage after 6 months of knowing somebody, I'm gonna tell you don't do it. Now it might work, and it's probably work for a lot of people.
I've met some people that have jumped into quick marriages. They're still together 20 years later.
Yeah, but I believe it's rare. So
I do agree. You should get to know people.
Right, because in 6 months you can still kind of be acting the part.
Yeah.
I've told my daughters in the past, and even just recently, when you're dating someone, don't give them all the things that you'd like, in a man, or you want the things you want somebody to do, because a man will be those things for a while, until you've let your guard down or whatever the case may be. That's kind of what men do. Men are like a chameleon. Like, you like late night phone calls? Oh, you like morning text messages? Or you like roses? Well, he's gonna start doing those things if he's paying attention. But that might not be his character.
Right.
And that's something that can change once you get into a relationship. But you're gonna realize that after some time has passed. Those things won't be happening as much because it was never his true character. And the same thing with the woman. The woman is like, once I'm married, it might not be an intentional change. And I know it's not intentional for women, but things tend to change because of their outlook. If finances have changed, if any type of situation has changed, where we're not living in the house that we wanted to live in before, or the kids aren't going to the school that I want them to go to, or you're not making enough money, you're not making the same money that you used to make, or whatever the case may be. When those are the issues, then it begins to change the dynamic of the relationship.
That is true.
So this is part 1 of a series. We don't want to keep you guys too long, but this is part 1. And what are we calling this one? Marriage?
Does marriage make things better? I mean, I don't know if we answered the question or not.
Well, we didn't answer the question.
But it's a series.
Yeah, we're here to talk about it. We're here to talk about it.
It's an elephant.
Right.
And we're eating the elephant piece by piece, but not literally, because we don't eat elephants.
No.
We don't believe in the eating.
I like elephants.
But not edibles. Not edible elephants.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
Eat it?
when when it comes to marriage and problems or discord in marriage, it is an elephant in the room. So you have to eat that elephant one bite at a time. And then grow from there. So, love is the journey. Marriage is definitely a journey of love. And if love can prevail, everything else doesn't matter.
But we have to work together and have many talks so that we can find out, especially in today's time. I mean, I'm not starting it back up. I'm not starting it.
It sounds like you were, because we were ending it.
I'm not starting back up. But I just want to mention, it's like in today, it's like so much going on all of the time. And so it's like we have to learn how to express love and get it out. A lot of us don't have any examples of love, of working things out, of how it looks. Yeah, there's problems, but how can we work through that? How can we get some of the answers that we're looking for? That they're not teaching us in school, or there's not a lot of classes for this for us.
Right.
There's not a lot of ancestors or people to give us the information and knowledge. So we'll work it out. We're gonna work on this. We're gonna work it out. Work together. Part 1 with marriage. ...
Like and follow for more. Thank you for joining us. Love is the journey. We'll be back.